What's good, guys? We're back. We got ourselves a big old show this week.
Yes, sir.
So, a lot to cover. We've got a big weekend ahead. We got football. We got baseball. Baseball's in its final stretch. The last few playoff teams trying to clinch their spot. We've got divisional races still going on. Stanley Cup. I think it's what 2-1 now.
2-1 Bolts.
Yep. NBA. I mean, conference finals heating up. Almost simmering down too on the east side. It's almost over, but got big UFC card this weekend.
Big one.
I mean, we got a lot to get to today, so we're just gonna jump right into it.
Before we start, I did spider-proof the truck this week, so we shouldn't have any incidents like last week.
No, that was a big issue for us last week.
Yeah.
Good to see everything here. Speaking of, I have my own stupid bug problems, dude. Yesterday, well, I guess it been 2 nights ago, I was like, I'm treating myself. I'm going to bed early. I went to bed like 11:30. Haven't been to bed that early since freshman year of high school. And dude, I get in bed. I'm feeling it. I'm tired. I go to sleep. 2:30 in the morning, dude. So I'm getting 2.5 hours of sleep at this point, and I hear a cricket. There's a cricket just sitting outside my window, just having a full-on conversation with itself. Wakes me up. I can't go back to sleep. I'm pissed off. I'm so mad. I've never been this mad in my life. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm yelling into my pillow, like, trying to get this thing to shut up. End of the story. Well, I don't go back to sleep. I'm up all day yesterday. Couldn't sleep last night. I'm like, dude, I'm tired as shit. Wake up, cricket, killed that thing. So, hey, we both got...
He sends me a Snapchat at like 2:30 in the morning, and I wake up at like 5:30, and I see it, and then I'm like, oh, Luke texts like middle of the night, and then I just hear this cricket. I'm laughing my ass off. I'm just like, he must be sitting there just livid.
I was so mad. You got to be shitting me, dude. Because it was just not it was chirp, 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 chirp for 2.5 hours. And I'm like, don't you have like friends you can go hang out with down the street or something? God damn, dude, it sucks so bad.
Gosh.
My entire yesterday. I ended up getting out of bed at like 4:30 in the morning. Had a cup of coffee.
And just one?
Yeah, well, I was gonna have a second. Like maybe I'll fall back to sleep. That didn't happen. Yesterday.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, so we'll also update you guys once we get into it. We got a little bit of a bet going on with NFL. We got our spread, stuff like that going on. Update some some award running. Got some good stuff in the NFL, but yeah, I mean, I'll let you can pick where we start this week. I mean, we'll save football for the end, but
sure. So let's go ahead and get into a little bit of basketball action here.
All right.
We last week we were talking about how I think at that time the Heat were up like 1-0, and boy, how that narrative's changed quite a bit. They look like they can legit win the title, can't they?
Yeah, I mean, game 1 it was kind of like, okay, I didn't really expect them to be. I didn't expect them to win that one. They just hung in there and then took advantage late, and then come out and win game 2 and it's 2-0, and you're like, okay, shit, they might do this. Boston wins game 3, which is like Saturday night or Sunday night. Okay, now we're getting into it. And then they have 3 days off. And boy, did that hurt Boston, because Boston came back cold to start game 4. Jason Tatum didn't even score in the first half. I think he shot 0 of 6, I believe.
Yeah, 0 for 4 from 3.
Yeah. Couldn't get it going.
And really, both teams in the first half last night couldn't get it going from 3. I think Miami went something like 5 for 20, and Boston went 5 for 23. There, last 6-8 minutes of the second quarter there, it was a struggle for either team to score.
Yeah.
If either one of the team could have found a couple threes there at the end of the second, that third and fourth quarter could have looked a lot different going into it with an 8, 10, 12-point lead. Boston kept it close. The Heat led for the majority of the third yesterday. Boston took the lead for a short period of time, but then Tyler Hero. Oh my goodness!
I mean, my Lord, this kid, rookie. He's coming out here, season basically in his hands. He drops 37. Yeah. Couldn't miss, and he's got the confidence of a vet, and that's what we've seen that since he was at Kentucky. Dude's not afraid to shoot.
Yeah.
And
It's probably because
everybody,
of that fresh fade he's got.
oh
That
hell
thing
yeah,
looked
dude.
crisp.
I mean, when he was coming out for the draft, everybody was saying, well, he can't be good because he's got a shorter wingspan. Because he's like 6'4" with a 6'2" wingspan or whatever it is, or 6'6" with a 6'3" wingspan. Well, he can't play in the NBA with short arms. What? Bro, this dude's dropping buckets every single night. He's got the confidence. He knows what he's doing. He's not afraid to shoot. He'll take over a game, as we saw last night. He's like, hey, Jimmy, take a back seat. I got this. He dropped 37, put them in driver's seat to win that series. It's now 3-1 Miami. But I do want to say
Well, let's be clear here. A 3-1 series lead doesn't mean
that
anything this
that's
postseason.
yeah, this year means absolutely nothing. I mean, we'll get to Denver here in a second, but
Yeah.
I hate. Listen, Boston fans have been very, very lucky for a long time with, let's just say, calls typically help them
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah.
Across all sports, Boston's in a pretty favorable spot. They weren't wrong last night when they were calling for Tony Brothers and Scott Foster to be done. Boston was getting screwed on so many calls, and I don't know the exact record, but I believe when Scott Foster calls Celtics games, the Celtics have a horrid record. It's not even close to what they are any other. I mean, you look at Boston; they're a pretty tough team, right? Apparently, they're not good when he's out there. I'd have to check to clarify, but I mean, there was an instance in I believe it was right at the end of the third quarter. Uh, Somebody for Boston. I've been Robert Williams, Time Lord as they like to call him, goes up for a rebound, gets shoved out of bounds, no call, and Hero comes down in transition. It's like a 2-on-1, 3-on-1. He takes it himself, and they call the foul when I think it's Marcus Smart goes straight up, but it's a 3-on-1. He has no choice. He's got to just stand there. He just goes up, arms up. Hero misses the layup. They call a foul. You shouldn't reward Tyler Hero for not passing in a 3-on-1 situation. First of all, if he doesn't pass that ball, you're not giving him a foul. They could have scored a lot easier than what they tried.
Mm-hmm.
But then to see they don't call it on one end and they come down the other end of the floor and call it. I mean, it was like that all night. Tatum got called for, I believe, 2 offensive fouls that I saw. I don't know if there was any more than that. I mean, it was bad. It wasn't. I hate blaming the refs for anything because I mean, obviously their job's not easy, but
Sure.
yeah, I mean, when you're that bad, it's definitely it takes a toll on a game, especially when a team feels like they're being kind of gypped on calls. Well, then it's gonna cause them to play poorly or to overextend themselves, and I mean, it just leads to too many bad things. But that's just my 2 cents on it. But
And really, neither team played great last night. But one thing both teams do well is shoot free throws. Miami. I want to say, I think they hit their first like 14 or 15 free throws last night. I mean, they shoot a very high percentage. And so, I mean, if you're sending into the line constantly, I don't want to say it's free points, but boy, I mean, it sure feels like it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not like you're giving fouls to 08 Dwight Howard, like.
Sure.
But you're putting Tyler Hero and Jason Tatum.
I forget which quarter it was. I want to say it was the third, but I think after like the 8.5 minute mark last night, like I think Miami was in the bonus. I mean, you're playing with the bonus for 8.5 minutes. That changes the way you play that game. That's part of the reason last night's game hit the over. You know what I mean? The over last night was like 2.5 or 211.5, and then the first quarter they scored 94. Like
first half they scored 94.
Yeah, first. I mean, that second half they came out, and I mean, they're playing. I mean, they're playing free throw ball. You know, it was a little different. But that's something I want to talk about. I think a big story coming out last night. What is the status of Bam Adebayo? They're late in the game. It looked like he may have injured or tweaked his wrist or something. Coming down the floor, holding it. I mean, he was out of the play on the floor. Stayed in the game for the end of the game, but boy, that could be a really big talking point moving forward. Not only in this series, but if they make it to the finals, regardless if they play LA or Denver.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a huge blow. I think I would argue he's been their most impactful player on a consistent basis in the playoffs. I mean, obviously you make a case for Jimmy Butler, but
I mean,
I
he
think,
leads every stat category except for assists. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, the dude's doing it all for them. It sucks. I mean, hope he does all. Hope he's all right. He gets back out there, but for Boston's sake, even if he's out there, but he's not 100%, you've got to go out there and attack
Yeah.
because, I mean that's just how you play, right? If you see a weakness, you got to attack it,
And Boston likes to play a lot of small ball, right? They like to
yeah,
drive it, kick it out, shoot threes. I mean, that's a lot of their game. I mean, Bam Adebayo is by far and away the best rebounder on the floor. So you take him off, well, I mean, that opens up a lot of second chance opportunities if you're Boston. It opens up, maybe a lot of transition, give and go on the defensive end. That's a big factor. And
yeah,
obviously we hope it's not that this serious, but I mean, if it's something that continues going into the finals, well, I mean, goodness gracious, it's not like the
yeah,
path gets any easier. You got to face
yeah,
either the 4-time or the 3-time champ, or you got to face the team that's got Nikola Jokic on it. So
yeah. If you're Miami and he says he's day to day, he's a little bit sore, but he'll be fine in like say 3 or 4 days. He's going to be 100%. Do you sit him game 5
well,
and take that chance of Boston catching momentum, or do you play him and just hope he can heal up before the finals start?
I mean, if there's one thing that we've seen, momentum doesn't. It's not the same this offseason as it is in other off seasons, right? I mean, you look at Boston's last series. Technically, the away team won every game in that series. Technically, even though they're playing on the same court for all 7 games. So, I if it's me, I'm probably going to sit him, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah,
if you tell me by game 6 he's 100% ready to go, I'd rather take my chances of having a fully healthy Bam Adebayo needing to win only one of 2 as compared to having an 80 or 70% Bam Adebayo, risking him getting injured further and needing to win one of 3. I just, they've looked like the better team for, a lot of this series. I
yeah,
think prior to last night, Boston had led like 70 something percent of the series prior to game 4. But I mean, last night, you got Duncan Robinson, you got Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler can get you a basket. Andre Iguodala's got postseason experience. They've got options. You know what I mean? They can do the small ball gimmick if they need to. Ah, boy, that's a tough one. I personally say sit them, but I don't blame anyone for keeping them in the game.
yeah. I think I'm in the same boat. Just I would even have him active but not start. If it's close late, you throw him in, but then you got to worry about being rusty and not being fresh off the bench and stuff. So it's a tricky situation. I'd probably sit him just for the sake of you still have 2 more chances if you don't get it done. But yeah, we'll see. I think the 3 day rest really threw them for a loop, but we'll see how they
Threw me
react.
for a loop, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude, I was sitting here on Tuesday or on Monday, and I'm going through. I'm like, what the hell is this Boston game? And it's not coming up. I'm like, God damn, I want to watch basketball.
Yeah,
It never
yeah,
came, and I'm like, yeah, there's no basketball now until Tuesday night,
yeah.
which Denver comes back. So they're down 1-0 in game 2. They're down a lot in game 2. Most of that game, they catch up late, take the late lead, and then Anthony Davis hits an absurd shot right over Jokic. Uh, gives the Lakers a 2-0 series lead, hits it at the buzzer. Now it's looking like, okay, well, the Lakers are a different breed, blah, blah, blah. Well, Denver's proven time and time again this year that they're not done. They're down 2-0. I mean, guess what? That means they just have to win 4 games out of the next 5.
Sure.
They've won 3 straight with their back against the wall. They can win 4 out of 5. Come out game 3, game 3 looked really good.
Sure.
Jamal Murray caught fire at the end of that one. He was
Sure.
hitting everything. He iced
Yep.
it for him. I think they were up like I want to say 15 or so, middle of the fourth quarter. I'm getting ready to go to bed because I'm tired. This is cricket night, so I'm going to bed, and then I hear the TV. It's like, oh, here comes LA. Well, oh snap! So I turn it back on. Lakers are down 3, I believe, and then I think the Nuggets get a stop. Murray comes out, and hits a deep shot. Get another stop. Murray again, deep fade, hits it. Nuggets up 9 now with like 2.5 left. Pretty much puts the game on ice.
Yeah, it was interesting with that game because really you can argue. I mean, Anthony Davis didn't make that shot. Denver's up 2-1, and this whole narrative is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start thinking, well, I mean, is Denver real? Is LA choking? You know, the narrative's a lot different if Anthony Davis doesn't make that shot. Denver, they know who they are. You know what I mean? They know they're the dogs. You know, they know that they're not. They don't have the glitz, the sparkle. You know, they weren't supposed to beat Utah. They weren't supposed to beat the Clippers. They're not supposed to beat the Lakers. They're just playing spoiler. I don't think they're playing with any pressure. You know, they're just going out there. They're playing. Game 2 was kind of the way that they played most of the Clippers series. They get down early. You know, they play from like 15 back for a lot of the game, and then they make that fourth quarter run. Game 3 was kind of the opposite of that. They were the one leading by double digits for a decent portion of that game. LA makes that comeback, but you know they were still able to close it off. Game 4's tonight. Man, I mean, how funny would that be if the Nuggets
Go down 3-1 again?
Goodness gracious, that would be funny.
It's impressive looking back. I mean, Davis hits that big shot.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how many he scored in game 3, but the Nuggets shut him down. He got 2 rebounds in game 3. Jokic just bullied him on the glass from what I saw. I didn't watch a whole lot of that game. I was flipping back and forth, but he's bullying him on the boards. He's grabbing everything. And I remember seeing one, he kind of uses his arm, boxes him out, one hands it with his off arm. Davis just looks dejected. I mean, yeah, he's used to getting those boards, but I mean, we'll see if he bounces back. And I like Denver just because we talked about this in the Utah series. They've got so many pieces where they just mix it up. Game 3, their third weapon was Jeremy Grant. He was getting doubled by the Lakers. He's not a superstar by any means, but he's been a very good 3-and-D player for a long time. I think he started his career with the Thunder. He's kind of bounced now, but they can give it to Michael Porter Jr. They can give it to Grant. They can give it to Monte Morris. I mean, they've got players all over the place who can kind of come in and contribute whenever they need them. But then if they need bailed out, well, look, you got Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. So, I mean, who's to argue that that's not a safe look back?
I mean, and it's also kind of crazy because Nikola Jokic is still getting disrespected. I mean, that guy is so underrated still. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, goodness. I don't know
have you seen the pictures of him as a kid that have been floating around Twitter?
I don't think I have.
Dude, I'll send some to you, dude. It's so funny. He's a little chunky kid, all hunched over.
I mean, the guy. I don't know what more he has to do in order to get some kind of respect.
I mean, he's on fire. I would argue he's the most complete center in the NBA.
Easily. That's not even a hot take. I mean, that's lukewarm.
He doesn't have like that. He doesn't have Anthony Davis's athleticism. I mean, you're not going to see Jokic just come flying down the lane and slam on somebody.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have to. I mean, he can hit any jump shot. His post work is incredible.
Dude's intelligent.
Yeah, and I don't understand how he does this little 14 jab steps, spin backwards, chuck it over his head, and it doesn't even touch net almost. Just drops, bloop. And I mean, he's insane, and probably the best outlet passer in basketball. At least the best among big men. I would say the best in general. It's insane what he does, and then I mean, he's finally got another superstar next to him with Jamal Murray, and I think that's what's scary is that this Denver team's not even close to being who they can be. I mean, I think Jamal Murray's only 23. I mean, if you got a 20-year-old dropping 30 points a game in the playoffs, that's pretty favorable.
Not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, Denver's exciting.
So, looking ahead, how do you see both series playing out? Who do you got playing in the finals?
Well, got more ice in my mouth. I think Miami wins it. I want Boston to still. I just think Miami's got so much of an advantage now. And it'll be tough to see how Boston bounces back, but I think Miami's got that one probably in Game 6. I don't know in the West. I should have no idea. Safe pick is the Lakers, but the safer pick is the the Nuggets. It feels like so.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean they're playing with no pressure. They're just out there having fun, not really worried about losing, and sometimes that's the best thing for you. And they're playing loose, hitting big shots.
Yeah, and I think, I agree with you. I think the Heat are going to make it out of the East. I think they're playing with that. Hell, I don't know. Maybe they got pressure on them now. You know what I mean? Now that they're up 3-1 and it's kind of looked like the better team for the majority of the series. I think the Heat make it out. I think I think they figured out the puzzle that is the Boston Celtics. You know what I mean? Toronto wasn't able to figure it out. They got close. You know what I mean? It looked like they had the pieces and it looked like they were working on it, but they just never got it together. I think Boston took what Toronto did, emphasized what they needed to do, and then they just came out and executed a game plan. You know, but Miami, give them a lot of credit. I mean, they beat a Pacers team that, I mean, granted they didn't have Sabonis, and granted the Pacers aren't good, and I mean, there's a lot of things you could say, but they beat them, swept them, right? Then they go into the Miami or the Milwaukee series. I think they were like an 8-1 underdog or whatever. Come out, win that SOB in 5. It was like, oh, how about this Cinderella story? And then they come out and it's like, well, man, just taking them out back and beating them with the belt. You know what I mean? and so I think they come out of the East, the West. I mean, when was the last time LeBron made the playoffs and didn't go to the finals?
Feels like forever.
I mean, what, maybe 2009? Maybe the last year he was with the Cavs the first time. Because I mean,
probably, yeah.
The dude made it every year with the Heat and every year with the Cavs the second time, and he didn't make the playoffs last year. So it'd be 2009 that was the last time he was in the playoffs and didn't make it. It's just there's a lot of experience on that team, right? Rondo, he's been there, he's done that. LeBron's obviously made it to the top of the mountain. Davis, this is the first time he's made it, but he's got enough skill where I think the moment maybe doesn't play that big of a factor for him. Danny Green, he won a title last year. I mean, there's a lot of championship experience, a lot of guys who have played this far into the postseason on that team. Denver, on the other hand, this is kind of uncharted territory for a lot of those cats. I think I don't know. The later we get into the series, if we get to a Game 6 or a Game 7, I don't know if the moment will be too big. Granted, that's hard to say considering they've already won 2 Game 7s against teams that they weren't supposed to beat. Man, I don't know. I think I'm going to say LA, but I would not be surprised if Denver won.
Yeah, that's kind of
I would say low key, I'm rooting for the Nuggets to win just because I kind of, I like the story. I like the team. I like the way they play. But, man, it's just so hard to bet against LeBron once he gets to this stage. You know what I mean? It only took a super team to beat him, the last few years. And, he lost to – I mean, really, the only team that he lost to in the finals that wasn't a super team was like the 2011 Mavs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody else had multiple mega superstars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I mean, the guy's just different when he gets to this point.
Yeah, I don't know, like, it'll suck to see Denver go if they do get eliminated, but they're getting a lot of important minutes, a lot of good experience here in the playoffs. And like I said, I mean, they're young. I don't know how old Jokic is, to be honest. I've said his name 14 different ways today, too. I apologize. But, I mean, they've got so many guys who are just getting that experience under their belt. It's kind of like Boston is. They've been doing it the last few years. They got these young guys, get them prepared, get them playoff minutes, let them see how they work in the big moment. They've obviously not been too scared of the task. And then if it's not this year, then within the next few, they're going to make another title run. So,
yeah,
it's impressive to see. I'm happy for them. I mean, Denver's been Very.
And really, I mean, for the first time in a long time, in my opinion, tell me if you feel any different. For the first time in a long time, it feels like there is some sense of parity in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's felt like for the last decade, you have 1, 2, max 3 teams that could win a championship. Now, I mean, it feels like you have a half dozen, 8 teams that could make a legitimate championship run.
Until next year when the Warriors get Clay back.
I mean, are we really thinking Draymond's going to be that good? I mean,
Nah, they'll trade the number 2 pick, get another superstar.
I mean, maybe. I mean, we'll see. You know, I don't know.
I'll put my money on Golden State next year. that'll be my early pick. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. There's a sense of like.
Don't sleep on the Knicks, by the way. Let's not.
You get. Trust me, there's no cricket outside the Knicks window. You are sleeping. Dude, where did the Knicks pick 8?
Yeah.
I saw an idea where they would trade the 8 pick and Mitchell Robinson for the number 2 pick with the Warriors.
There's no way.
Take Obi Toppin. Could you imagine trading your only good big guy to draft another power forward?
Obi Toppin, man, that's the guy right there. Better than LaMelo, but I don't know. We'll see.
He's the best player in the draft.
So moving on, baseball. Baseball wraps up regular season this weekend. Playoffs start next weekend. My New York Yankees, because I own the team, obviously. Just kidding. No, New York.
You were kidding? I thought you owned them.
Man, I certainly wish. Dude. Wouldn't be filming in the truck if I owned that team. But no, they wrapped up a playoff spot last week. It's looked there for a minute they weren't going to make the playoffs. I mean, they were a game and a half above the Orioles, and you're in trouble whenever you're competing with Baltimore for a playoff spot. So they wrapped up a playoff bid. It looks like they possibly had a chance for the 1 seed, maybe getting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay wraps up the AL East. It looks like they're going to 1 seed the East. A lot of fun stuff. Your Cubs, they're closing in on the playoff spot. Or actually, I think they've already clinched.
Yeah, they clinched on Tuesday night, I believe. Which was great because they made a trade at the deadline to get Andrew Chaffin from the Diamondbacks. He was on the IL when they got him. Well, he comes over. He finally makes his Cubs debut in his first game. You know what he does? Walk-off home run, baby. Cubs are back. Pisses me off. But I don't know if that was his first game back or not, but it was the first game I saw. He'd only been up for like 3 days. But, yeah, Cubs clinched. I believe the NL Central now, actually, let me check to be sure. As of right now, there are 3 NL Central teams in the playoffs. The Brewers are like a half a game back. And then the Pirates are the worst team in baseball. So,
yeah, I mean,
very
it's not bad.
Different, but Cubs have not clinched the Central yet. They play the White Sox, I believe, this weekend to close things out. I think they have one more with the Pirates tonight. If they win tonight, they might clinch it. But it's stupid because the Cardinals they've still played a lot fewer games. Cubs at 32-24, they do not feel like they've done that well. But, I mean, they're still 3.5 up in the division. You were right early on saying the Marlins were going to get in. They are exactly a 500 team. They look like, I believe they're the 8 seed at the moment. So they would be playing the Dodgers. That'd be a quick exit, but...
Yeah, for the Dodgers, for sure.
I've been hoping that the Reds have made a really strong push. They're 8-2 over their last 10, and like I said, dude, they're a scary team in the playoffs. I wanted to see them play the Dodgers in the first round because you would be seeing Bauer, Kershaw, and then Gray and Buehler, and then Castillo and Dustin May most likely. That's 3 really good pitching matchups. Yeah. I don't think we're going to get that one. I think the Reds are now going to lock into the probably the 7th seed, and they'll be playing the Braves in the first round. So I believe the Braves also, I mean, they should not be 34-22. They're putting up like 20 runs a night, it seems like, when I'm watching them. They lost Soroka, right? Like
Mike Soroka, yeah.
later this season, he tore his Achilles. Max Fried's looking like a Cy Young candidate. I mean, they're a tough team to beat. They're 6 games up in the NL East. That one, the Marlins and the Phillies both fighting for a spot. I mean, it is tough. Giants are fighting for a spot out of the West. They're above 500. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a really exciting last week of baseball. So
It sure is. It sure is. I think, obviously the seeding is pretty important this year, just because, playing. Well, how do I want to say this? It's not important in terms of getting to play in front of your own fans, but it's important in being able to play in your own ballpark. So
yeah.
the way that you play a game in Yankee Stadium is going to be different from how you would play the game in, say, I don't know, Oakland. You know what I mean? And so, that first round series only being 3 games, you're playing all 3 games in that stadium. And
Yeah.
so, Tampa Bay, they can use all left-handed lineup, right? I mean, granted, Tropicana is trash, but I mean, that right field, I mean, balls end up out there all the time. So, seeding is going to be important. Obviously, it's kind of a straight bracket. They're not reseeding the bracket as each round progresses. Man, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm
So
looking
they're
forward
they're
to it.
not doing the drafting then, right?
What's
I know
that?
they floated the idea of where like the 1 seed gets first choice of who they play.
No.
I know that was something they tabled, but I didn't think it ever got approved. But
Yeah, no, it's a straight 1-8-2-7-3-6-4-5, and then it's just a straight NCAA style bracket.
yep.
You know,
So I want to make sure I'm understanding it right. So the NL is playing in an AL ballpark. AL is playing NL ballpark in
after
the
the
second
first round.
after the
Yeah,
first round. I'm
yep.
assuming that's just so nobody gets home field, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it like that. I mean, that's a good. I mean, that's a pretty good hypothesis. I respect that. I know that they're playing in San Diego and Arlington.
Yeah.
So
I believe the American League is playing in San Diego and at the Dodger Stadium. The National League is playing at Minute Maid and in Arlington.
mm-hmm.
World Series is in Arlington.
Yep.
I do not like their stadium at all. It's brand new, so that's why they want to do it. They want to get some exposure out there.
Mm-hmm.
When their roof is closed, you can't see the ball. I don't know if you've ever
I
seen,
haven't.
but I know like the Angels were playing there earlier this year, and that was the game that Joe Adell, it was like his second game up, one of their like big prospects, right? They had a pop up to him, and by the warning track, he can't even see it because it's like a factory roof, like
Mm-hmm.
raptors beams coming across. You can't see anything. He loses the ball and it pops off his glove and over the wall for a home run.
Ugh.
And that roof is going to play a factor.
Sure.
So I'm not a fan of it, but I guess I respect it. It will be late in the year, but it's also in Texas, so who
Uh-huh.
cares? I want to play baseball in the snow. Put it in Colorado. Let's hit long balls in the snow, baby. That's all I care about. But
And really, with the AL being there in San Diego Stadium, I don't know if you've ever seen it or where it's located. It's located right off the ocean right there. And so fly balls go out there to die. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so you have a power team like New York or Minnesota go over there. Those home runs that, typically get out of the ballpark and they're, either in Minnesota or New York, all of a sudden those become long flyouts, out there to left and right.
yeah,
So, that could play a really big factor. I don't think enough people are talking about that. I think those games are going to be much more lower scoring than what people are going to realize.
right. I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on. It'll be interesting to see how it works. I don't know. I assume they're not going to go back to it, but I mean, given it that's a really weird year, I mean, it's cool to
Sure.
see how they're adapting, but um, I don't really know. I haven't really looked into anything. I mean, MVP in terms of both sides, I'm probably going to go with Tatis. Would still be my National League.
Yep, I agree.
American League, I'm probably going Jose Ramirez.
Okay,
With the
Cleveland.
Indians. I know Tim
Yep.
Anderson's up there in the conversation. And speaking of the White Sox, have you seen? They just called up this kid, their first round pick this year. He's been playing with them.
Oh
Trying
yeah, he's throwing gas.
dude. I think his name is it's Garrett. I don't know if it's Crochet or Crochet, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
That kid's gonna be something, man.
yeah. Throwing
He's
101.
21, throwing 101 from the left side.
Yeah.
He's got the smoothest delivery I've seen in a prospect in a long time. It just
Uh-huh.
leg comes up, drop. I mean, it's sick. Sucks he's in the wrong part of Chicago, but he's gonna be tough. But yeah, I mean, American League. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of American League baseball, but I would assume
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez
Well,
they
I
win
mean,
that.
people were saying Bieber had a chance to make a run. Luke Voigt, he's had a power surge. I mean, he's leading the home run race by I think like 3 now. Um, you could give it to a Tim Anderson, a Jose Ramirez. I mean, Mike Trout. I mean, I don't know if he's still in the conversation. Um, man, that's going to be a tough one. I think I hate to say it. I think the MVP race gets decided this weekend.
Yeah,
I think if Voigt can hit another 2 or 3 home runs, I think he would lock it up. I mean, you win the home run race by 5 or 6. Like,
yeah,
I mean, that's a pretty,
it's favorable. Uh, Cy Young, is it as easy as it looks in the American League?
I mean, it certainly feels like it's pretty easy, doesn't it?
It's Bieber, right?
That's what I've been thinking. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say it's either Bieber or Kenta Maeda, but I think Bieber's got it pretty much locked up.
Yeah. And beginning of the year, my prediction was Garrett Cole, but man, Garrett Cole, he's had bad starts. I mean, his ERA is higher than what you would want out of the Cy Young. Bieber, he's just been dominant. He has been dominant from start to finish. I mean, the guys went out there just striking everybody out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame he plays for Cleveland. But I mean, I don't see how you can take it away from it. That is his award to win this year.
I'm looking at the ESPN Cy Young predictor, and I just wanted to say number 2 in the American League and number 4 in the National League, both relievers.
Really?
And somebody, I'm not gonna say who, somebody before the season said a Cy Young this year, we could have a sleeper come in out of the bullpen and win it for the first time in almost 20 years.
That's true.
But Liam Hendricks is up there in the American League, and then Jeremy Jeffress is number 4 in the National League. He has not been great the last few weeks, but it looks like it's Bieber. National League's a lot more.
That's more competitive.
I mean, you can make a case for Darvish, Fried, Kershaw, Kyle Hendricks, Trevor Bauer, and maybe Zach Davies.
Well, I hear DeGrom's name getting thrown out a lot.
Yeah. DeGrom, it sucks because he's missed time and then he's come back. But, I mean, I don't know what you want the guy to do. He's out here. He strikes out 16 Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah. And he can't get the win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
no.
It's bad. It's bad.
And I, maybe this is wrong. I just feel like DeGrom is facing higher levels of competition than what some of these other guys do. I mean, Kershaw's a great pitcher, but I mean, the guy's playing the Wests. The Wests, I would say out of the three sections, they probably got the worst teams.
He's on the best one, and then the Padres, and then the A's, and that's really about it.
Yeah, and I mean, DeGrom, the guy's ERA is, again, stellar. I mean, the guy is, top 10 strikeouts? I mean, the guy doesn't have any wins, but, I mean, you got to have some kind of run support in order to in order to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's who. I mean, people keep saying DeGrom. You know, I see. That's just, man. My gut tells me Trevor Bauer is going to win that award.
I
That's
do.
what my
Yeah.
that's what my gut tells me. I think Bauer. He's been lights out. I mean, I think the guy's leading the league in ERA. I think he is like top 5 maybe in NL strikeouts. I don't exactly know where he stands in wins, but man,
I
I
believe
wouldn't even.
he's gone like 7 starts with 1 run or fewer.
Yeah, I mean the guy's crazy. He's got sub 2 ERA. Uh, I think it's sub 2.
I'll check real quick and see if it's updated.
But
Um,
man, I think it's his now. It comes down to this weekend. You know what I mean? If DeGrom pitches this weekend and he throws a complete game shutout, well then, man, that really solidifies. You know, I wouldn't say solidifies, but man, it adds a lot of weight to his argument.
yeah.
I would say it's a 2-horse race. I think it's between DeGrom and I think it's between Bauer. I think Bauer holds a significant advantage over DeGrom right now, but DeGrom could steal it this weekend.
Trevor Bauer, oh my. He's got a 173 ERA,
Yep.
100 strikeouts.
Yep.
He's given up 14 runs in 73 innings.
It's
And
not bad.
he's got a 5-4 record.
Brutal. Brutal.
Yu Darvish is 7-3. Max Fried is 7-0 with a 2.25 ERA.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. That's really about it from these names. I don't know who else you would consider.
I mean, for a while there, I
Kershaw,
thought Darvish had a chance to win Cy Young, but I think he's just had a couple.
his last 2 starts have been pretty bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say subpar, but I mean, if you want to say they were bad, you could certainly make that argument. I think those have taken him out of the Cy Young. Man, I don't know. That's such a close race there in the NL.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks is another one to watch. I don't think he's gonna get it. I think it's a stretch, but he does lead the league in innings pitched at 81. I think he led the league, or he was the only pitcher in the league to throw 8 innings or more in 3 separate starts this year, which it was hard for a lot of guys because you're playing a lot of 7-inning doubleheaders.
Sure.
Doesn't have a lot of strikeouts, but he gets a lot of walks. He only has a 6-5 record, but a 2.88 ERA.
It's not bad.
I mean, that's a loaded group in the National League. Only reason I think Bauer won't get it is just because of his relationship with baseball. Obviously, he's been very.
Oh man, you calling for the conspiracy here?
I mean, he's been so vocal about Manfred sucking at his job, and rightfully so. He's had I don't want to say he's had too much fun. He's had fun with the season, right? He's been vlogging. He's been wearing the cleats. He wore trash cans on his cleats the other day. I mean, he talks a lot of shit on the mound. He talks a lot of shit off the mound. He struts after strikeouts. He's doing it all. He's the face of baseball, in my opinion. Just in terms of what he does on and off the field, he's very fun to watch. But I think that's just going to piss off Manfred even more, and I wouldn't be surprised if that costs him a vote.
Man,
I think he wins it, but I'm just saying.
You think they're gonna do him dirty?
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's baseball. They're gonna do somebody dirty at some point. Baseball sucks.
You're not lying.
Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame yet. Yeah, they're gonna do somebody dirty.
Boy, I don't see the crap, man. I don't see the crap anywhere. Where is it? Oh goodness.
But yeah, I mean, well, obviously, I bet you guys as that comes out, we got a lot. I mean, this is gonna be such a baseball. The last week of the season is usually pretty tight anyway. You'll have your division set most likely, and then you'll have a couple teams fighting for wild card. There's legit like 8 teams on each side right now fighting for a chance to play, and all you have to do is win 2 out of 3 games, and you're moving on. So
sure,
it's not out of the realm of possibility for something crazy to happen this week. The teams that are in, but they still need to clean things up. I mean, I'm not confident in the Cubs winning their opening series. I'm not confident in the Braves having it. I mean, Not confident really that the Padres are going to stay hot just because we don't know who they're going to match up with. They could. I think they're set to play. They'd be playing the 4.
I think so, something like that.
Or maybe the 5 because they would be the 4 seed. So I mean, I think that would set them up with St. Louis right now. That could go either way if St. Louis is getting pitching help. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
For sure.
I mean, yeah, it's been hectic all year. I'm here for it, despite how much it sucks, and I hate the Cubs. So,
all right, getting a little warm in here. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit of football. So we're going to recap last week. Last week, Luke, how did we do on our picks?
Well, I don't have the games pulled up anymore because I wrote over them.
Yep.
I'm an idiot, and I didn't think about that until after I did it. But so last week we both went 4-2 on the money line, picked the games well. I hit my lock of the week, which was the the Niners to cover the 7-point spread over the Jets. You lost. You did not hit your lock. You end up the Dolphins covered over Buffalo at 5.5. I think the Dolphins ended up losing that one by 3.
Yep.
And then you went 2-4 against the spread, and I went 3-3. So
it was a rough week.
If you guys want an update, which you do, that's why you're here. Keanan is 6-6 on the money line, 5-7 against the spread, and 1-1 in his locks. I, the soon-to-be champ, am 7-5 on the money line, 5-7 against the spread as well, and also 1-1 on locks. So we're tied on the locks and on the spread, and I just have you by a game in the money line. So
yep.
I mean, it's tough because I'm built different, and that happens. I gotta figure which games I picked this week, and then we will. Yeah, so obviously it's Thursday. I'm rocking my Tua, that old school.
Yeah.
Tua is not going to play probably tonight. Probably won't play for at least a few weeks. Well, I mean, they will have an extended week of practice if they want to put him in there next week, but we'll have to see how Fitz does. Obviously, he hasn't been great, but yeah, I mean, before we get into our picks, I just gotta say I'm done picking the Vikings. I'm 0 for 2 on the season, and I know, listen, sometimes you gotta take accountability. I put them in my Super Bowl because I thought they were gonna have a chance. I thought they were. This is not me being biased. I mean, probably a little bit factors in. I thought they were gonna be good this year. I thought they had a chance to put up points with anybody. Turns out their offense is dog shit. Their defense is dog shit. And Anthony Barr's out for the season. He very well might have just played his last game in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie corners can't catch a break. They can't stay healthy. Kirk Cousins, he looked solid in week 1. He looked like shit against the Colts. And let me tell you, as a Vikings fan living in Indiana, you going out there and getting your ass handed to you by the Packers and the Colts to start your season, not the best way to start it.
No.
I mean, it's not fun. Not fun for anybody.
I mean, imagine being an Eagles fan. Ooh.
But yeah, dude, listen.
It can always be worse.
Carson Wentz and Kirk Cousins have both just fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
And both fan bases want to, Vikings fan bases want Kirk burned at the stake, which rightfully so. Eagles fan bases are like, well, Carson doesn't have the weapons. Sure. Yeah, so they lost Jalen Reagor again, and the only new receiver that they didn't have last year is a 5th-round pick who's a kick returner. Make it an excuse all you want. Carson Wentz just hasn't looked good. He's had a lot of drops this year, but he hasn't looked good from what I've seen. God, it's just I'm just saying, I've never been this guy. Coming into the season, I was like, damn, Vikings are going to go out there. They're going to probably make the playoffs, do all right. They're going to keep Kurt They already extended him in March. He's got a $41 million dead cap hit next year. So if they cut him, they're eating $40 million.
Yeah.
Well, just guess what? Their next 5 games, they've got Tennessee this week. Tennessee's going to run for like 700 on them. They have, oh, geez. Houston in week 4. Probably going to lose that one on the road. Then they play Seattle up in Seattle on Sunday night. They're getting their ass kicked in that one. Then they have Atlanta, who's putting up 40 points a game and losing. Well, they're not losing that one.
Actually, 39.
39.
40
we'll get into that dog shit story here in a minute. So Atlanta's not going to lose to Minnesota. Then they play the Packers for the second time. This time it's at Lambeau, and they're probably going to have fans there. The Vikings very well are starting this season out 0-7. Guess what, dude? Tank for Trevor. It ain't that hard. I don't care. I'll pay. I will do a GoFundMe right now, and I will start making that $40 million back to pay Kurt if he's out of town, and I can have Trevor Lawrence or Trey Lance or Justin Fields in the building next year. But this is what's going to piss me off, is if Vikings going to lock up that one pick, they're going to eat that money, and then Trevor Lawrence is like, I'm going back to school. Like, come on, man. They just extended Mike Zimmer. I think he's gone if he doesn't turn things around in a heartbeat. Gary Kubiak, they brought back as offensive coordinator. They let Stefanski go. Listen, I'm rambling so bad. I told you that Stefanski sucked. He goes to Cleveland. They're okay. They put up 35, but it was against the Bengals. He also called a fake punt from his own 20 in week 1 and completely ended their chance of winning. I'm starting to think Kevin Stefanski knew what he was doing in Minnesota. Because they just paid Dalvin Cook like nearly $13 million a year to touch the ball 11 times in 2 games.
Yeah.
Dude, you just can't do that. He goes out there opening drive against the Colts. He's got I think it was 5 carries for 25 yards and a touchdown. The dude didn't touch the field the entire rest of the first half. Just didn't. They put Alexander Madison in. I don't know what they're doing. I'm getting pissed off, right? I'm just watching this game like, oh shit, here we go. And guess what? Sunday, 12:45 Eastern. I'm sitting my bitch ass right there on that couch. Just waiting, thinking they're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it again in week 4 and week 5 and week 6, all the way up to week 17.
Well, let me ask you this: who do you think gets a win first, Philly or Minnesota?
Philly.
Oh, I don't know about that. Ugh.
I haven't looked at their schedule, but because they'll have the common sense to put Jalen Hurts in. We're not pulling Kirk Cousins and saying, "Hey, Sean Mannion, go get us a win." Not even Oregon State in 2012 could say, "Hey, Sean Mannion, go get us a win." God damn, dude, it pisses me off. I've been saving so many photoshops of Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields in Vikings jerseys, man. I'm just waiting for the day. Dude, it is week 2.
We got 15 weeks to go, man.
God, dude, I honestly hate it. My favorite saying during NFL Sunday is, "Wow, I hate life." I only say it about 58 times a night, so
only.
Dude, yeah. So anyway,
so before we get into our picks for this week, I guess we can discuss the Atlanta-Dallas game, and then we'll get into this week. Man, Atlanta. Who would you rather be? Would you rather be Michael Spinks facing Tyson in '88? Or Atlanta with a 20-point lead? I'm just saying. Dude, either one doesn't look promising.
You got to give credit to Dak because he made plays when it mattered. Mm-hmm. Dallas fumbled the ball 4 times in the first quarter, the first 7 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Atlanta's up 20-0. Faya Olas, I forget his name. their linebacker, I used to be mad because he's fast. He had 3 forced fumbles in the first
good.
half of the first quarter.
It's pretty good.
Calvin Ridley is dicing them up. Russell Gage is making plays. Matt Ryan was dominant. Then they say, hey, we're going to run a trick play. We're going to go Wildcat. And Russell Gage, keep in mind, they used to do this with Mohamed Sanu. Sanu had a good arm. They put Russell Gage in there. He throws a pass. It's like 45 yards. Oh, my God. Right to Julio in the end zone. Julio dropped it. He just dropped it. Cowboys, dude, if you guys didn't see this game, please don't. Just don't watch it. It was stupid. Dallas cuts it to, 2? With like a minute 20 left or something like that. Atlanta calls timeout before the kickoff to discuss how to field an onside kick. Now, keep this in mind when you think of the Falcons. They've got Younghoe Koo as their kicker. He is the best onside kicker in the NFL. He did it last year in the Saints game twice.
Yeah. Under the new rules.
Under the new rules, which is almost impossible to get.
Yeah.
The Falcons have seen onside kicks in practice, I guarantee it, because this guy's their kicker. They call timeout. Gregory the Leggery Zerline comes out there, lays the ball. He lays it flat on the turf, no tee. So guess what? This ball's not bouncing. It's laying on the ground. Yeah. He just walks up and kicks it. Right? Ball's got to go 10 yards. Common sense. Has to go 10 yards. If it doesn't go 10 yards, it's a penalty. But the kicking team cannot touch it before 10 yards. There's nothing that says the receiving team has to wait for the ball to go 10 yards. This ball sputters like 4.5 yards downfield. And like 3 Falcons just hunch over and stare at it. And this thing is just slow. It's just and they're just watching it. I think Hayden Hurst is in there. He's just staring at it. Well, I'll be damned. That ball crosses 10 yards and like 9 Cowboys dive on top of it. Basically, they get the ball back and go kick a field goal and win.
Oh, man.
What would they talk? What did they talk about during the timeout? Like, hey, you like pudding? Like, bro, there's one thing you can talk about. Dude, you put your receivers on the field and you say, hey, go catch one more ball. And they couldn't do it. Dude, it's so bad. You gotta feel bad for Matt Ryan. Dude. He's like throwing for like 9,000 yards and he's gonna end up with a 4-12 record.
Oh,
Jesus
Gregory
Christ.
the Leggery.
Dude, it's bad. I hate it. If that was the Vikings, no joke, I would have to buy my dad a new TV. That shit would have been shattered.
Oh, man. Before I have a heart attack, let's get into this week's picks. Thursday night football, Jacksonville, Miami. Jacksonville is a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 48.5. Luke, please help me before I have palpitations. What is your prediction Thursday night football?
All right. I got the Dolphins covering.
Okay.
And I got the Dolphins winning it outright.
Okay.
I wanted to go a little bit bold. We'll see. I know the Jags they might be without DJ Chark. We don't know for sure. But I got Dolphins winning at 24-23. Close. Okay. I mean, Thursday night football is never close. It feels like in last week it was, and I guess week 1 it kind of was. So maybe I'm wrong. But usually Thursday night football, once you get into the swing of the season, it becomes home teams winning by 2 scores. I mean, I don't think either of these teams are great. Gardner Minshew's been a fun story, but I mean, got the mustache versus the beard. We'll see what happens. It's like the podcast, you know. I'll have the mustache next week, and but yeah, it was. I don't know. I think Miami's. They got to win one at some point. Fitzpatrick
Sure.
wants to keep his job. He doesn't want to end up like Tyrod Taylor, which shit, we'll get into that one too. But yeah, I mean, I'll put my money on the Dolphins.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of see this one. I see this one a little differently. I got Jacksonville covering -3. They've averaged 30 points a game. I mean, they put up 30. I think they put up 34 or something like that on the Colts in Week 1. Last week, I mean, they hung with Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee, they had to earn that win. I think Tennessee is a much better team than Miami. Miami, it's weird though. I mean, they went up against the Bills team last week that I thought was significantly better. I thought they were going to beat them by a couple scores, and Buffalo had to sweat. They had to score in the last few minutes there to win that ball game. This one, I got Jacksonville covering. I think this one's going to be 24-20. I think they just barely cover it. I have this one going under 48.5. I think this one is going to be a lot of punting. And I think most of your scoring in this game is going to come in the fourth quarter.
Love me a good punt battle. You mentioned Buffalo, and Josh Allen has had a resurgence.
Yep.
You know why?
Why's that?
He's got a top 10 receiver on his team now.
What's his name?
Stephon Diggs.
Where did he used to play?
Maryland.
What's that other place that starts with an M?
Oh, yeah, he played for the bitch-ass Vikings. Oh, we won. Dude, they traded him and drafted a receiver replacement, and he doesn't see the field. But I'm not even going to get into it. I'm just not. But yeah, I believe we both picked the Sunday night game and Monday night game as well this week. Well, we're always going to pick Monday night, obviously, but Sunday night, since that's chronologically correct.
Sure.
Got Packers and Saints. Is it in New Orleans?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it is in New Orleans.
New Orleans, was it 3.5 or 3?
Yeah. New Orleans 3.5 point favorites. The over under is 52.5. Pretty high line there.
Yeah. Let me just get my calculations. I've got the Packers winning it outright again. Another upset. I've got the Packers taking it 31-27.
Okay.
I just didn't like what I saw from the Saints last week. Their defense couldn't get a stop against Josh Jacobs and Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones are a lot better than those two.
Supposedly,
I don't know how the Packers don't really have the tight ends that Oakland was using. Well, obviously not the same ones because it's a different team. But they don't have somebody the same caliber as Darren Waller. But, I mean, Devontae Adams is going to have a big night. I don't know if Drew Brees is going to do well. He's been really struggling early on. He probably won't have Michael Thomas back yet. I don't know if he can rely on Alvin Kamara as much as he wants to. I don't know. I just think the Packers are on a roll. Hate to say it, those douchebags, but I think they got it. I think Green Bay's going to – I think it'll be a late surge from New Orleans, but I think Green Bay's going to have it pretty comfortably.
Yeah, so, I mean, I see this one differently as well. I got New Orleans covering. I think they win this one 27-21. I think this is a very comfortable under. I don't know why. I just think 52.5. That's a lot of points to try to put up on Sunday night. New Orleans, they lost a game they probably should have won on Monday. They're 1-1. The thing is that NFC South, I mean, 9-7 ain't going to win that division. And New Orleans, I mean, they're going to need home. Well, I mean, if Louisiana allows them to have fans, they're going to need home field. I think they're going to come out motivated this week. I think they're going to run the ball well. I think they're going to get Latavius Murray some more touches. I think you're going to see some more some pass plays to both Murray and Kamara. If Thomas is back, I think that helps their case a lot. If not, you're going to need to see like Jared Cook step up. You're going to need to see, the other receivers there in New Orleans step up. Breeze, I think this needs to be a statement game for him. A lot of people say his fastball isn't what it used to be. A lot of people think that, maybe he retired 1 year too late. Maybe he should have hung it up. I think this is going to be a statement game for him. I think this is going to be one of those games where he has 400 yards. You know, I think they're going to move the ball. I think they're just going to have trouble scoring. I don't see a lot of points getting put up in this game. I can see a couple missed field goals out of both teams. Rodgers, I mean, I like what they've done so far. I mean, they've looked good through the first couple weeks. I don't know. I just think that New Orleans is going to be motivated coming off of a rather, I don't want to say embarrassing, but boy, a real unexpected loss to Las Vegas. So, going 1-2 to start the year in the NFC South ain't gonna cut it. And so I think this is one they need to win. I think this is one they're gonna win. I think they cover. Monday night. This one, a lot of people have this one circled on their calendars. This honestly could be for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Kansas City on the road, Baltimore. Baltimore is a 3.5-point favorite. The over/under, another high line, 54. How do you see this one?
I mean, I know we disagree. I think Baltimore's taking it. I think they cover the spread. Let me check my score. I also have that one 31-27.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson's looked really good. Their run game is dominant. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, if you want to call him, he's done well. He's been very explosive in their offense. Chiefs' offense hasn't looked what you would expect it to be. Mahomes hasn't really got his feet going. Well,
sure.
He hasn't got his feet under him. Struggled mightily last week against the Chargers, who I think Mahomes finished 27-47. Very out of character for him.
Yep.
Ravens defense is no slouch either. I mean, he's got a bunch of corners. They got a good pass rush, a lot of speed in their front. God, dude, I'm all over their first and second unit. I don't know. I think Baltimore's just the best team in the league right now. Just on paper, I think top to bottom, they've got a lot of guys who can contribute. And I think at home, under the lights, and their black jerseys like they like to do at night game, I think Baltimore's just a force. And I think they're going to hand the Chiefs a loss, but I don't think that means anything for the playoffs yet. I just think, obviously, when you get to the playoffs, if they meet up again, anything can happen.
Sure.
It's a whole different environment, a whole different feel to how the guys are going to come out. But for now, I think Baltimore's got their number just a little bit. I mean, I have them covering the spread by 0.5 point, so nothing crazy.
Sure. This one, like you mentioned, I see this one a little differently. I've got Kansas City not only covering, I think they win this one outright. I think that this is going to be a very comfortable over. I've got Kansas City winning this one by 2 scores, 37-28. I think Mahomes and Edwards-Helaire, they've got a lot of weapons. Both these offenses, they're both quick score, high octane, can put up a lot of points in a short amount of time. I think you're going to see a couple home run balls on Monday night. I think this one's going to be very fun for the viewers at home. I think Kansas City, they had a rather tough time with Justin Herbert on Sunday. I think that Herbert kind of, I don't want to say exposed, but boy, he really made a name for himself Sunday.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City, they're going to come out a little bit more motivated. I think they know Baltimore is a good team. I think they want to show themselves Monday night, maybe a little prime time, I think this one's going to be pretty good. I think Kansas City wins outright. I think this is a comfortable over. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And that is my lock of the week as well. Lock it in. Kansas City plus 3.5. I got them winning outright.
That's a bold lock to have, but I got to respect it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the nuts to go that deep, but I mean, some people are just cut from different cloth. I'm built different.
Built.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be the best game of the week. It sucks we have to wait till Monday for it, but I'm excited. That's going to be definitely a game to watch. We get to, I mean, if we want to get to our
Sunday games,
unsimilar
Sunday
Sunday games.
Let's do it.
What's your first one? Well, I guess your fourth.
Yeah, so the one that I'll go Las Vegas, New England. New England's a 6-point favorite. The over-under on this is 48. I've got Las Vegas covering this one and winning outright. I think Las Vegas, they can move the ball. I mean, Derek Carr, is he a pretender or is he a contender? I don't know. We're going to find out pretty soon. They're 2-0 though. They're 2-0. They beat they beat New Orleans last week in a game where they were 6-point dogs. They're 6-point dogs in this one as well, and I think New England is not as good as New Orleans. I think that Las Vegas, they're going to run the ball. I think this one is going to going to be pretty surprising for a lot of people. I've got Las Vegas winning this one 27-23. Cam Newton, he's looked good through 2 games. I mean, obviously he gets stuffed on the one there on Sunday night. I don't know. We're going to see what kind of weapons that Las Vegas has. We're going to see if that one game against New Orleans on Monday night, if that was a fluke, or if that's really who this team is. If that's really who this team is, boy, I mean, they could win the West if they play as well as they did on Monday night throughout the rest of this year. Like I said, Las Vegas +6 covering and winning outright.
I like it. I want to see Vegas get Henry Ruggs going. I know they obviously have high expectations for him, but he's going out there putting up a catch or so for 3 yards, and he's having a huge impact on the game because teams are respecting his speed so much that they're just leaving everybody else. I mean, Brian Edwards is having solid games. Darren Waller's been arguably the best tight end in football right now because there's nobody to stop him over the middle. I mean, eventually it'll come for Ruggs. I know he's been targeted deep a few times. He just hasn't been able to get to it. I mean, he had one on Monday night. It was just over his shoulder, I believe. He couldn't quite reach it. But, I mean, big play threat, scary guy to guard. Eventually he's going to bust one. We'll just have to wait and see when it happens.
Sure.
My next pick, I'm sticking with the Niners. I know that they have a lot of injuries. I mean, they lost like half their defense, which we'll get to. I had Nick Bosa winning Defensive Player of the Year. He's obviously out of the running for that now. He tore his ACL. I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play on Sunday or not. I would assume he does, but we're not 100% sure. Is that game also in New York? Do they play at MetLife Stadium 2 weeks in a row?
I don't know if they do or not. It would make sense that they do.
I already know that they don't like the turf. Yeah, it's in New York. That's got to suck for them. They hate the turf there. So we'll see how that works. Yeah, they were, I believe, 4.5 when I last looked, and it's dropped to 4 now because of all their injuries. I think Niners cover that one. I think they win outright. Let's see here. My score 27-10 San Francisco.
Oh wow, okay.
I mean, what are the Giants going to do? Give the ball to Devontae Freeman off of 3 days' notice, and he's going to try to run the ball against the worst offensive line in football? Or is Daniel Jones going to get strip sacked 7 times? Or both? So, I mean, Saquon Barkley's out for the year. That's the entire Giants offense. They lost Sterling Shepard now for at least 3 weeks. You have 2 passing threats with Evan Ingram and Darius Slayton. No run game, no offensive line, a quarterback who's turnover prone. Your defense hasn't been great. You almost just beat the Bears, but you choked it. And the Niners, Garoppolo's going to be sore. They're not going to probably throw the ball a whole lot. Oh, that's okay. Well, the running backs are. Well, their number 17 running back is Jerick McKinnon, who, as we all know, he can take off for 100 yards easily.
Sure.
He's elusive. He's quick. San Francisco is not a great team. They kind of got lucky with the timing of Garoppolo's injury, just given their schedule. Obviously, you don't want to lose your quarterback, and he's not necessarily an elite quarterback.
Sure.
But if you have to turn to Nick Mullins, now's the time to do so. I think they still clean this one up. Easy win for the Niners, but not clean enough to be my lock of the week.
My next game, I've got Buffalo minus 2.5 against Los Angeles, the Rams. Over-under on this one's 47.5. Buffalo, boy, they made me sweat last week. They did not cover. It cost me a lock pick for this year. I'm going to take Buffalo minus 2.5. I think they're going to go 3-0 to start this season. They look good. I mean, Josh Allen had the best game of his career on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. I think the team. I think that team's for real. I think that team is going to win the AFC East. I think they're gonna. Their defense is good. I think they're gonna. Obviously they didn't look super great against Miami on Sunday, but I think that was. I think they're going to tune things up, and I think they're going to look better on Sunday. I've got Buffalo winning this one 31-20, giving me the over. So.
Okay.
We'll see if Josh Allen's success continues. What do you got next?
I will say I didn't pick this one, but I do have the Rams also. I have the Rams winning that one outright. So we are not on the same page this week. My next one, I'll save my lock. My next one, this game's gonna suck so bad. Washington at Cleveland. Cleveland's a 7-point favorite. Yeah, I'm going to put my money on Washington to cover and to win it outright because I don't know how you're going to stop. I mean, their front seven has still looked really good. Chase Young, I believe, has the highest pressure rate of any player in the NFL behind Aaron Donald, and he's a rookie. He's played 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland's not done great against the pass rush. Baker Mayfield still kind of scares me. It could be a big day for Odell. We've been expecting it. He had a good one last Thursday. No, just choked. He just got he had a deep touchdown pass to start the game. Almost caught another one later on. Won me some money, thank you. But I don't trust Cleveland to pick them, especially as a 7-point favorite. Even though it's at home, I think Washington just going to be able to get to the quarterback. I think Haskins has still looked solid. Terry McLaurin is still really good. I think he's still kind of underrated just because their team's not great. But I think once Haskins gets rolling and he can kind of shake off some of the pressure, I think he's going to be fine. I've been saying it for a while, so I sound like a broken record. But I trust Haskins. I trust their offense to turn it around. I don't know if they're going to be dominant, but I think being 7-point dogs to a not great team is kind of disrespectful towards them. So they got something to play for. Just give me Washington, I guess.
My 6th and final pick of the week, Indianapolis, 11-point favorites against the Jets. Anytime you got a double-digit total, boy, it's uncomfortable picking the favorite just because, man, that's a lot of points to try to cover. Indianapolis is playing the Jets, though, and the Jets are bad. I mean, they're somehow worse than Minnesota. I don't know how.
That's crazy.
It's kind of wild to me, but man, I tell you, Indianapolis 11-point favorites. For some reason, my gut's telling me to take it. I've got this one 34-13 in favor of Indianapolis. It's going to hit the over of 43.5. That's how you know one team sucks a lot. Whenever the over-under is 43.5. 3 touchdowns apiece. That's bad. Yeah, I think this one hits the over. No thanks to New York.
Their defense has to be bad enough. Duh.
I mean, this one should be comfortable. This one should be a comfortable over. Indianapolis, they should win by a couple touchdowns, maybe 3. I don't know.
Yeah,
Give me Indianapolis minus 11.
We saw San Francisco run the ball. I mean, Mostert had a 75-yard touchdown run the first play of the game. He had another one that got called back, but it was like 65 that he took to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Jerick McKinnon replaced Mostert, who left the game with an injury. Dude, it was 3rd and 31 from like their own 10. There's one play call in that situation. It's a draw play. McKinnon took it 55 yards up the gut. Jonathan Taylor's going to punish the Jets. He had 100 yards against the Vikings. He's going to put up 150 against the Jets. You can Book it. I mean, the Jets, Adam Gase. Oh, Adam Gase. Oh, quarterback whisperer, man. Remember that time he had Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning at the end of his career and he took him to a Super Bowl and everybody was like, yeah, this guy's good. He also had Ryan Tannehill, who left Gase's system and is now a pretty respectable quarterback. Sam Darnold hasn't looked great, but he has made some really impressive throws. But then Adam Gase is like, that was a good throw, but let's suck the next drive and kind of ruin that. Gase doesn't deserve to be in the NFL, let alone as a head coach. Yeah, I mean, that's an easy pick. I would take the Colts in a heartbeat. That would probably be my lock if the spread wasn't so high, but if the spread was 9.5, I'm hammering it. 11's a little scary. What? Now we get...
Speaking of your lock of the week, what do we got?
My MVP vote. My candidate to get me a lock this week at home at 4 o'clock on Sunday.
3 o'clock if you're in Central.
A very valid point. Against the Detroit Lions, the 5.5-point favorite Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, no.
Kyler Murray is going to win MVP this year. I got to just kind of promote myself here a little bit. Starting yesterday, once a week, on this YouTube channel, on its own little section of the channel, I'm doing film review. I'm breaking down quarterbacks that I think deserve a little bit of attention. This week, I looked at Justin Herbert, who made his first start in his career. I looked at Kyler Murray, broke down a few other big plays. Kyler Murray's MVP candidate right now. His team's 2-0. He's doing it all with his arm, with his legs. Russell Wilson's probably the front runner. Kyler Murray's a close second. They're in the same division. Whoever wins that division, I think, should win it. Okay? Cardinals can do it. Give him some credit. Cardinals' defense looks good. They made a few mistakes against Washington last week, but they bounced back. They threw a pick at their own 20-yard line. Boom, strip sack right away. Got the ball, go down, score. Beat them by 15. Cardinals are tough to beat, especially at home. Lions aren't good. That's a given. I think 5.5 points is pretty favorable. I'm going to hammer that as my lock. I'm going to be 2-1 in my locks. I'm going to be running away with this thing here soon.
A lot of talk right there.
Yeah. But I did just mention Justin Herbert. I do want to say this story coming out of Los Angeles is wild right now. Have you seen any of this?
If it's the same one that I think you're talking about, I've seen a little bit of it, yes.
Yeah, so Vikings get their ass beat Sunday at 1. I go into my room I start writing up some stuff. I got a little bit of work I got to get done. And I hear out of my ear, I'm like, well, because that's where you hear stuff. And I hear them say, Justin Herbert's taking the field. I'm like, huh, that's weird. He wasn't named the starter this week. Tyrod Taylor started last week and almost lost to the Bengals. Well, Herbert comes out there, impressive first drive, gets a touchdown himself, takes it in himself. He battles with Pat Mahomes all throughout the game. They lose it late, kind of choke it away. Herbert looked really good. He looked better than I thought he was going to look. I wasn't crazy high on him in the draft. I had him as a second-round pick once things were all said and done. He kept dropping just because of inconsistencies. But Anthony Lynn, very respected head coach. I love what he's done in L.A. considering his team can't stay healthy. Mm-hmm. Hey, I think I figured out why his team can't stay healthy. Their doctors and their medical staff is bad at their job. So Tyrod Taylor in week 1, after the game, they said he has a rib injury of some kind. I don't know if it's broken or cracked or just bruised, whatever. So he's expected to start in week 2. He goes into the locker room right after the coin toss. He goes in for a little like a pain-killing shot. They just miss the spot and puncture his lung. And he
pneumothorax.
He's got a chest injury. He can't play. Justin Herbert was told 5 seconds before kickoff, literally, like right as they're getting ready to kick the ball, they're like, "Hey, you're starting today." What? What is happening? You're opening your brand new stadium and you're starting it off with, hey, we're going to puncture our starting quarterback's lung.
Yeah.
He can't
bold move.
He can't sue the team. I'm pretty sure it's in your contract. Like, hey, if the doctor screws up, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, now Tyrod. Well, they keep saying, well, if Tyrod's healthy, he's our guy. Two things. One, have you watched the two quarterbacks? Because Tyrod almost lost to Joe Burrow in Week 1.
Mm-hmm.
He put up 16 points against a, let's just say, not good Bengals team.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert made his first start on a moment's notice, and he almost beat the defending champions.
Yeah.
Caught fire late, and Mahomes just made a couple big plays to tie the game, went in overtime. Now, do you just say, hey, Tyrod's our quarterback because you screwed up so badly with the medical stuff that, hey, we don't want him to be like, hey, we just punctured your lung and also you're not the quarterback anymore? Like, are you just giving him like a few days to think he's going to be the guy? Yeah. Tyrod knows he's not going to be the guy forever. He was like that in Buffalo. He was a backup there. He was a backup in Baltimore. Uh-huh. He goes to Cleveland. They draft Baker number 1 overall. He knows that Baker's taking his job some point in his first season. Happened to be like 2 weeks in. I believe, actually, I believe they said it was 2 years to the day that Tyrod got pulled for Baker Mayfield on Thursday Night Football. That he punctures his lung. He knows he's not going to be the guy. He's just out there trying to get his money. He's trying to prove that he's still an NFL quarterback, which I think he is. I think he's at least at I can't think of the word. I am struggling. I'm sorry. I'm having like a stroke over here. At the very least, I think he is a high-end backup quarterback, if not a low-end starter. That's fine. But don't sit here and say you're going to start him when you've clearly already seen that your number 1 draft pick is good at what he's doing. Like, he's what you want him to be at this point in his career. Let him play. He's not going to get better by starting and then coming out and just sitting there and watching his team suck. Their offense had some life in it. Let them have it. But that's all I got. It's just a stupid. I don't know how you mess up something that poorly. I've never seen anything like it. Shouts out the Chargers. They've had. I mean, this team's injury report is like 7 pages long every single year, and I think we're starting to figure out why. They tear pecs, they tear biceps, they tear ACLs. Like once a week, it feels like, which also brings me back. Week 2, the injury report from week 2 and across the NFL, that's an all-pro lineup. I mean, Saquon Barkley's out for the year. Cortland Sutton's out for the year. Drew Lock, my homeboy, he's out for like 3 to 5 weeks with like a torn or something with his rotator cuff. Michael Thomas is still out. Nick Bosa's out for the year. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. Mostert got hurt. Anthony Barr tore his pec. Like, is it because there's no preseason? Probably. That probably has something to do with it. Guys tried to go from 50% to 100% like that, and then their body just couldn't really do it. Playing on turf doesn't help either. I mean, damn. What a crazy week it was.
It was wild, dude. And it's only going to get better, man. It's only going to get better.
I mean, who knows? Maybe Carson Wentz will break your heart. Man.
I don't know.
It's in for a weird season. It's going to suck. I can't wait to sit through it all. But
kind of wrapping up for today. Saturday night. 2 title fights. First one, Jan Blachowicz, Dominic Reyes for the light heavyweight championship of the world. What a good fight that's going to be. Dominic Reyes, a lot of people think he's the uncrowned champ already. A lot of people thought he beat John Jones in February. I am one of those cats. Him and Blachowicz. Blachowicz just knocked out Anderson in the first few months ago. Man, that's a tough fight to pick. Actually, no, I'm taking Dominic Reyes. He's going to be the world champ come Saturday night. John, where you at, bud? Why you ducking that Dominic smoke? It's not like Francis Ngannou's any easier, you know what I mean? So, but I know the one you're looking forward to. The one you're going to pay $79.99 to watch. The middleweight championship of the world.
Easily taking that.
The middleweight championship of the world. Israel Adesanya, Paulo Costa, someone's O has to go. What do you think about that one?
Adesanya by a knockout in the first 7 seconds. What else?
Gonna Masvidal him. Bad time.
Oh yeah, I mean, what else is there to think? You know, I mean, I don't know. I haven't. It's been a while since I've watched a fight, really, since everything else started back up. But I mean, that's one I'm going to look forward to. I mean, I'm going to get that credit card out.
You should.
Just
Type
that bad
16
boy.
numbers in, you know?
Yeah, plus a 3 on the back.
Yeah.
A little bit of name, billing address, and everything like
that.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I love paying for fights. I've been paying for all these football games out of market too. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think Adesanya wins it, but I also probably know he might not.
See, I think Paulo Costa wins this one.
How's that for analysis?
Yeah. I was about to say that's...
I want him to win, but I don't know enough about it to really make a good pick.
I think Paulo Costa wins this one. I think Adesanya, I mean, he had that fight with Romero in February that ended up being kind of a snooze fest, and obviously Costa fought Romero. That was a split decision. Some people thought Romero won that one. Man, that's a tough one to call. I think Adesanya, he's very fluid. He's got hands, kicks. I mean, the dude can he can throw techniques from positions that you're not expecting. He can throw question mark kicks. He can throw very effective elbow. I mean, the guy can do it. Costa, on the other hand, the guy's just raw power. The guy, if he needs to, he can strike. If he needs to, he can take you down. I think he's got a couple more weapons. This one's, they say it's personal. Every fight's personal, I guess. This one, I think it's kind of the UFC. You know how they say the Madden curse is real? Well, the UFC video game curse is real because, Rousey, she gets the cover. What happens? Well, she gets baptized by Holly Holm. Conor McGregor gets the cover. What happens? He gets choked out by Nate Diaz. Masvidal gets the cover. What happens? Well, he loses every minute to Usman a couple months ago. I think this one's going to be kind of similar. I think this one's going to be I don't want to say this. I think it's going to be a decision. I think it's going to be like 49-46 Costa. So that's my prediction. Reyes and Costa, new champions come Saturday night.
Hell yeah. Adesanya and somebody else. So, what time is that? 7 and 10 or 6 and 9? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably watch it. I know there's college football going on Saturday. There's not really very many good games this week. I think everything kind of kicks off for college football really next week is when the SEC gets going, and then we got a lot of good conference games. Notre Dame's ducking Wake Forest already, pussies. Dude, I will tell you straight up, if you want to hear me, if you were ever at a PlayStation party with me, and we're talking about college football just now, I'm about to roast the shit out of Notre Dame. You thought I hated the Packers and the Colts, dude. Oh, just wait till I get my hands on a nice old Notre Dame segment. But
who do you hate more, Notre Dame or Taysom Hill?
Shit.
Asking the tough questions here on ATL.
Damn. It sucks because I hate both of them, and I hate their stands even more. Notre Dame, because they had a movie made after him, and the kid was offsides. Not even Rudy safe, stupid prick. You were offsides, and you know it. Dude, all that movie taught you is that, hey, if you bitch enough, your daddy can get you onto an overrated football team, and you can make an impact by cheating. If that ain't Notre Dame football, let me. Oh man.
Oh goodness.
At least Taysom Hill gets paid $20 million to be a backup fullback.
Dude's got it made, dude. Dude has it made.
You can't even hate. He's out there making money. Dude, that poor lady, dude. On Twitter, on Twitter, dude, he asked me. He goes, "Who do you hate more, or who do you like more, Taysom Hill or Notre Dame? And
No, playoff P.
Oh, it's playoff P. Yeah, dude. And this lady gets in there and she goes, "Oh, Taysom Hill with like a heart or something." Like she didn't even know that we're joking, dude. That's what I'm saying though. Like Taysom Hill fans, I could sit here and say like I could literally be like Taysom Hill's the best player in the NFL and like list everything that I like about him. The list is this many things. But hypothetically, I can make this like long list and I could say and he's overrated. And bro, every single time there's like one random person. It's a different person every time, but there's always somebody. It's just like, dude, Taysom Hill's the best. I'm like, dude, I swear to God, dude, if you don't shut your mouth about Taysom Hill, like I've never seen this before. A guy who makes such a minimal impact each and every week as a backup quarterback. And like, I understand that he's a gimmicky guy and he does serve a purpose for the Saints. But they act like every time he throws a pass, he's like prime Brady. This dude threw a in week 1. They threw a trick play with Taysom Hill, and like with like 2 minutes left, up by 2 scores. Congrats, bro! Nobody thought you were gonna run a double reverse pass. Dude, the game was on ice. And then Michael Thomas gets hurt. Hey, whose fault? I'm not pointing fingers, but hey, Sean Payton, get your head out of your ass. But yeah, so Taysom Hill's not my favorite.
Oh, my God.
Man, you guys are getting the best of me today. Jesus.
Oh, man, this is going to be good. Oh, goodness. Well, before I start having palpitations here, we're going to wrap this up. So, a lot of fun on today's show. Look out for our picks. Best of luck to everybody this week, and we will see you next week.
Yes, sir. We'll see you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoy, and keep an eye out for some stupid film I'm going to be putting out. So, all right. Maybe I'll review Taysom Hill next week. We'll see.
Oh,
it'll be one clip, and it's him sitting on the bench. All right, so all right, that's enough. I'm gonna lose my mind. All right,
take it easy, guys.
Peace out, guys. See you next week.